Hey book lovers, welcome to another book review session with the Writers Vengers Network Book Hub. Here we review all kinds of books, informative books, educative books, books that make you cry, books that make you laugh, books that make you think about your life, philosophical books, historical books, and so on. The list goes on, it's endless. And today we'll be talking about a very controversial Nigerian novel. The name is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, and it is written by Akwaeke Emezi. I am your host, Tima Basiudo, and with me I have...
Goodness, now. It's nice to be here.
Thank you very much. So we will be running through the summary of this book. Goodness, please, could you help us with that?
Sure. So the book starts with Faye at a party in New York where she meets Milan, and they end up having a thing in the bathroom. The bathroom of the party, of course. And fast forward, she discovers it is unprotected sex, and she is trying to heal from the trauma of her dead husband. 5 years, But her best friend has been pushing for her to go out, rediscover herself, find love again. And she thought maybe this was a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Milan is also dealing with his own darkness.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't mentioned in the book what he was particularly dealing with. Yeah. So fast forward, Milan introduces Faye to his friends, and Nasri picks a keen interest in Faye. And of course, why the interest starts is because Faye is an artist.
Yes.
And Nasri is also interested in the arts somehow and decides to support Faye. And of course, one thing led to the other. Faye sees himself or herself in Milan's father's house, who is a chef.
You mean Nasri's
father's house, sorry, who is a chef. And Nasri's father pays attention to Faye and finds out about her art. He's able to connect with her
in the way only certain older men can.
Yes. Particularly artistically. Yes. He's able to give full descriptions of her art. And of course, this makes Faye vulnerable with him.
Absolutely.
And she is caught in between two walls, actually. Let me backtrack. Nasri knows that Milan has something to do with Faye sexually.
Yes.
But he's still interested in Faye, still. Now, she's caught in between three men.
Three men.
Yes, 3 men. And of course, we see that Nasri's father is crazy about Faye. After Faye had left, he had to come to New York to look for Faye.
So basically, the book ends right there.
Yes. Unresolved. I have to say unresolved, because I was expecting something more. Like, would they fall in love?
They were already in love.
Would the connection lead to marriage or something?
That's the beauty of certain books, leaving that closure for you to decide for yourself.
I seriously think there should be a sequel to this novel.
I think that would be on it all. But moving on, what would you say? What does beauty mean in the context of this novel?
The novel.
Yes. Would you say it is physical beauty or it is inner beauty?
Both. Notice that Milan and Faye were both in love. Not in love. Attracted. Just use the word attraction.
Yes.
To Faye because of her natural endowment. That's why they had the one-off night at the club.
She had the beauty of a typical African woman.
Well endowed. And beauty in terms of inner beauty can be seen when Nasri's father explores her, right? Gets to know her better, gets to know she's interested in the art,
yes.
Gets to contribute to her art, and of course read meaning. I think somewhere in the novel she had a painting of the ring,
Yes.
And he interpreted,
Visual art of
yes,
earrings,
and
yes.
he interpreted that. So we see that there is that
Physical beauty,
physical and there is
inner
beauty.
beauty.
Yes, in the novel.
Now, when you were going through this summary, there's something that you mentioned that intrigues me particularly.
Okay.
Faye fell in love with Nasri's father when Nasri sacrificed everything for her.
Okay.
After knowing that she was involved with his friend Milan sexually, he chose to pursue her. And in that, should I say, journey, she says she's not yet ready for sex, but he was still consistent with her. He still wanted to support her ideas, her ambitions, her dreams. Would you say that Faye had enough right, or would you say that her actions, falling in love with Nasri's father and deserting him, was a good thing? Would you say she was right to have done that?
The heart wants what it wants.
Even at the detriment of other people's happiness.
The heart wants what it wants. I think essentially she had to make a choice. Like you said yesterday, we're having this conversation yesterday, and you said something impeccable. You said that still the ball still was at Faye's point to pick between Nasri and her dad.
Yes.
And of course, her dad had a deeper connection with
his dad.
Or sorry, his dad had a deeper connection with Faye. So I just feel Faye, Nasri was on the surface. The dad had a deeper connection, and there's also this thing that guys say: older men treat ladies better. So there's that too.
Older men treat ladies better.
There's that
I agree and I accept. But when you say that Nasri was on the surface, I think you are wrong to say that.
Why?
For a man to know that you have had sex with his friend and deny him access to your body on the basis of you trying to heal after you've had sex with his friend. Okay. So he gives his all to you. He gave her his time, he gave her his money, he supported her in every way that he could. He flew her to the Caribbean islands where she had the opportunity to exhibit her art. A man who not only thinks about you, but thinks about your dreams and visions. Won't you say that's an ideal man?
Ideal man.
Yes, ideal man.
Like I said, the heart wants what it wants.
At the detriment of everything else.
The heart wants what it wants. Sometimes the heart could choose, the heart's choice could be somewhat difficult to accept. We see that even what's his name? Alim. Yes. Nasri's dad. We see that he was also invested in her, whether you like it or not.
Yes, he was.
He was also invested in her. That's why he flew towards the end of the novel. After she had left to New York, her base, he flew to meet her, right? Yes. So I just feel it was her choice to make, and she made it.
That's okay. I understand you. There's one other intriguing thing that I'd like to ask.
Okay.
Would you say grief can be a form of connection?
Yes, it can.
Considering the fact that Alim lost his wife about 20 years and he's been alone for a very long time. Having to meet Faye, who also lost her husband 5 years before.
Yes, it can.
And then she comes out and then they share that connection. Would you say grief is a way to connect people?
Yes, it is. But I would like to also say that, what's his name?
Nazir.
Milan yes. was also grieving. But the connection wasn't there.
So what would you say was the difference between Milan's grief connecting with Faye and Alim's grief connecting with her?
For Milan and Faye, they were just sex buddies, sorry to say. There was no intimacy, sex intimacy. There was no
in-depth understanding.
Yes, exactly. There was no in-depth understanding. But with Nasri's dad, there was that in-depth connection. Even with Nasri, right? There was that in-depth connection. She's a part of the novel at the beginning. It says she noticed that he was grieving, but she did not want to approach the topic because she was also grieving. it's out of her own selfishness to
Yeah.
protect herself and her grief and not get
Involved
involved
in his own.
in
Yes.
Malem's grief. So grief can connect, and grief can also repel.
Yes.
So two ways. Grief
Two
can
ways.
connect, grief can also repel.
I think it's interesting that something sad, which is the loss of a loved one,
Yeah.
can also be like the beginning of something
A good story,
yeah,
a nice story, a beautiful story. Yes.
Thank you very much. The last thing I'd like to ask or understand is Faye's actions throughout the book. We can say that the book starts very steamy and hot. Faye having a sexual affair with Milan, and going forward, we can see like her irrational actions, the way she, discards Milan's feelings, follows Nazri to the Caribbean island, and ends up falling for her dad. Could we say that she was searching for something?
Yes.
What was that thing that she was searching for that is the premise for her actions, her irrational actions?
I think love, comfort, and desire. Love, comfort, desire. She wanted to heal from the what she was going through, essentially, first of all. But in the process, she was also looking for love. Why she had sex with Milan in the first place, why she was expecting for Milan to be more open and be more conversational, if you notice in the novel, was because she wanted to have an in-depth connection with Milan.
Yes, but why is it that at the point he wanted to open up, she fled?
Because she noticed that he was also hurting, and she wasn't ready to deal with any other person's shit as at the time, any other person's mess as at the time. Yes. That's why I said earlier that the heart wants what it wants. Yes, exactly. So it was a journey to self-rediscovery, rediscovery, love, identity, and happiness.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So on the should I say on the pillar of searching for yourself, of loving yourself and finding your identity, are you allowed to do whatever and however?
Yeah.
Would you say that you're allowed to do anything you want on the premise of searching for acceptance, value, love?
I wouldn't say so. But in this context, in the context of the novel, you'd understand that Faye had stayed out of the relationship and dating scene for 5 years.
5 years, yes.
And that's quite a long period to stay out of the dating
Especially for the people of this generation.
Exactly, you get it. So I feel she had spent time enough to nurture her heart, right? So I feel there's a place for withdrawing from the society, taking care of yourself, then
coming back into
the society.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, goodness, having read this beautiful book, who would you recommend this to?
Novel lovers, first of all. African novel lovers.
Yeah.
Nigerian novel lovers. I would also recommend it for people who are on the journey towards self-discovery.
Yes, beautiful.
I'd also recommend it for people who want to go to diaspora.
Yes, to understand how things work beyond borders.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So we have come to the end of our book review session. Thank you very much for watching with us and staying with us this long. Please like, share, and comment, and we'll see you next time. Bye.